Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. It's been quite a debate in the studio. Shola and Wale definitely disagreeing on whether Victor Moses should be brought back into the Super Eagles fold. You were talking,
yeah, like I was saying,
before we went on break.
Let's always go with facts and figures. Victor Moses came out after the World Cup to say that he had a good run with Nigeria and that he wanted to concentrate on his club career while allowing young people to come through the ranks to represent Nigeria. Do you get? Lovely resignation. He did not tell us that there was malice or that there was fighting or anything. And we always go with what he said. Or is there something to read between the lines? Nothing.
Maybe there's something they know we don't.
Yeah, so they should come out to tell us. Then we will react to that. But we are reacting to what he had said and he put out officially. Now, a few months down the line, this whole club career is gone. It's up in smoke. You know, Sarri does not see Moses as a part of his plans. As he stands, he's virtually on his way out of Chelsea. You know, it's so bad that the club even forgot his birthday. That's how forgotten he is. Now, Nigeria moved on. We've had some young lads come through the ranks. We're building a new team. We had the youngest team at the World Cup. So if a 29, 30-year-old man says, I've done enough, please let him rest. Allow the guy, because when his mind is not there, he will not give us what we want. Let's put this sentiment aside. Dear Amaju Pinnick, channel these efforts towards getting us more young players to come through the ranks, not people who have already served and feel that they don't have anything to offer anymore. Nobody forced him out. He left on his own. He left on his own.
You're right. Wale, I mean, why do you disagree?
My own part,
with,
for every national team of a country, when you have people play for your country, and we see premature retirement. I'll call it premature retirement. He didn't resign. He said he retired. He's not playing for Nigeria anymore. Just because Mario Sarri came to Chelsea, has lost his place, doesn't mean Moses doesn't have anything to offer in football. Things can change overnight. I think that's what Amaju Pinnick is trying to say. Do you understand? You need players that have served you, someone that won the Nations Cup, at least to come back and leave with honor. When you do that, the younger ones that he's talking about, hold on, Cecilia, hold on. The younger ones that he's talking about, you have something to look out upon. That when he was leaving, he was honored. When I mean, like a ceremonial match,
maybe he didn't want it. Because
Cecilia, you want it. Have him stay for some time, and you leave with ovation. It doesn't. There's nothing bad in it for him to come back and play. Hold on, Cecilia, let me land. There is nothing bad in him to come back home and play one of the qualifiers. Do you understand? Like what they did for Fabregas. Fabregas lost his place at Chelsea. When he was leaving, he played the last FA Cup and was given an ovation. That's the way it should be. That's my own point of view. I'm not saying he should be brought back to take claim in the national team. If there are better players, fine, we should discard him. Do you understand?
Shola, what do you make of this honor thing?
And we need to address this thing because we have to be careful our choice of words and what we say out there. It is not dishonorable because he on his own resigned. He pulled out of the team. What is wrong with that? Let's be honest with ourselves. What is wrong with that? We have had some even stopped playing for the team without doing what Moses did. I think Moses did the best that we could. He came out to say, guys, I've done well, and you've done well for me, and I'm done.
Yes, that was quite
so there's nothing dishonorable. Yeah, it was shocking because we didn't see it coming, but it was not dishonorable. Nobody disgraced him out of the team. He had just come back from the World Cup. If you want to organize a testimonial, that is the easiest of all things to do.
Sorry, I have to cut you short. I didn't use the word dishonorable. Sorry, I didn't use the word dishonorable. You don't twist things. Sorry, excuse me.
You cannot.
You don't twist things.
You can't do this because I was talking.
I
let you talk.
Get back to you.
I'm quoting you verbatim.
No.
You used the word
I didn't use
honor.
Dishonorable.
You said honor.
No, you said honor.
Honor. So what is it saying that is it dishonorable?
You know what? Let's not turn this into a petty argument. Let us get on with the facts and figures. And the facts are that Moses said he's done with playing for Nigeria.
Facts are known. They're not
the fact is that the NFF president is going after Moses. And he said there that he's going to beg him. He's been talking to him on a daily.
He doesn't.
There are more pressing issues for Nigerian football. There, Amaju Pinnick Please concentrate on the young ones. This man has done well for Nigeria.
Wale,
and if you need to organize a testimonial, we will organize a testimonial. It does not have to be part of the Eagles. It doesn't.
Sorry, Tayo. The word beg, I wouldn't submit to that. There's no of them begging him.
Yeah,
they
but
can talk
it
to
can
him.
be interpreted as that.
Even use the analogy of begging your wife to go out with you.
They can talk to him. Do you understand? If he still has something to offer in football.
Does he have something to offer?
Yes,
just
because he lost his place doesn't mean he lost his place in Chelsea. Doesn't mean Chelsea.
The only reason why he wants to come back to Nigeria is because he lost his place in Chelsea.
Do you understand?
Because it's glaring. And now, this is where people should be careful about taking decisions. I was talking and you cut into.
But you corrected me.
If you can do it, I can do it.
No, you corrected me. I'm not
you kept on talking. You did stop.
When Thomas was around.
Let's talk about his quality.
It was all the players that did his best for national.
His quality at the moment.
We had a below par World Cup. That one is not out of place. He's going to have the best of times in every competition.
Okay.
Do you understand? His work rate, his commitment.
Commitment?
Yes, to the national team. Is not doubtful.
Okay.
You know this.
Nigeria actually qualified for the Nations Cup with the games to spare without Victor Moses. I mean, we saw the performance. We saw the way they play. So if you're bringing back a Victor Moses into the squad, where will he fit in? It simply means you have to discard one of these young players that he wanted to have opportunity to play, not to play.
Cecilia, if he gets his place back in the club, anywhere he goes to.
If or when, If or when. Let's use the word
and
when.
there's the need for us to bring back our best legs. They should bring him. But if it doesn't, and we have better players in that position, they should forget about Moses. But I'll say it, there is nothing bad inviting him for one of the qualifier matches and let him
Moses is not going to play qualifier matches. Moses wants to go to the Nations Cup if he's coming back. We all know Victor Moses.
The Nations Cup, if his presence would disrupt the national team, and if he can't get his place in the club, they should leave him.
What if, for instance, just maybe, he didn't play any of the friendlies and all that? Maybe at the Nations Cup, he wants to come into the team. Should he be allowed to join the squad?
You know, I'm not an advocate of people cashing into the national team. We've seen the perils of we doing that. Michael Nwofor went to the World Cup with Keshi. It gets crashed. Someone was dropped for him. I don't like that. I'm not in support of that.
Okay.
But try to undermine my point of view. If Victor Moses gets back to his place in Chelsea or any other club that he goes to in the future, and he still has something to offer, I see no. You
haven't answered my question. Like I'm
saying, always bring him back.
For instance, maybe he didn't play any of the friendlies, any of the warm-up games before the Nations Cup, and maybe when the Nations Cup starts, you see him 23-man list. Victor Moses is out.
That's wrong. I'm not in support of that.
Okay.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. The president has come out to say he wants Victor Moses back. Moses hasn't come out to say that he wants to return to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So we'll continue to monitor that situation, whether Victor Moses will rescind his decision to retire from international football. Of course, you can join us in the discussion as well too. Do you want Victor Moses back with the Super Eagles of Nigeria? You can always hit us on our Twitter channels _sports. You can hit us on Facebook as well to channels-sports. We'll definitely try and take your opinions on that. Let's move on now. Still talking Nigerian football. Cecilia, something happened over the weekend. Media reports that there's been an order for the arrest and prosecution of the Nigeria Football Federation president, Amaju Pinnick. That's turned out to be falsehood now. And now we have official reaction from the presidency.
Okay.
This story actually broke weeks ago. This fake story, because I saw it when Nigeria was about to play South Africa. And it's sad that people will pick up stories online without checking the source, without verifying, without trying to balance, and they go to press with it. A lot of people who are not happy with the current NFF Federation, and especially Amaju Pinnick, were happy. The way I saw tweets and stuff on Facebook, and we need to rein it in. You get the fact that you don't like someone does not mean that you should jubilate at such things. It was fake news from day one. Nobody tried to confirm where it was coming from. Was it coming from the EFCC? Was it coming from the Presidency? Or was it coming from the Ministry of Sports? We know that there are issues between stakeholders. And I know that they are trying to resolve it. But it's really sad. And I'm calling out colleagues now. I'm calling them out to stop picking stories online without verifying the source.
Very important. Cecilia, the official
I
response.
think the official statement coming from the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Garba Shehu, Media and Publicity, he talked about the fact that the position of the President that allegations of criminal nature should be addressed only by investigation and law enforcement agencies within the framework of the law has not changed. It is not in the nature of President Buhari to say go and arrest that man or woman as formed the practice in the past. So this is actually saying that this is not coming from the president. So wherever the story is coming from, who knows where it came from and what actually led to that. I mean, journalism sometimes, I mean, when the story broke, I mean, some of us were like, okay, it's like you're actually throwing the job of sport journalists, into the garbage and say you can pick up anything and you run with it. Even National Daily's trusted one, ran with the story and all that. We had some people have resigned, been sacked concerning that and everything. What did you make of this whole situation?
The present world we are in a digital world, and that's the perils of the digital world. Stories fly around, rumors fly around, without verifying the source of the stories. And before you know it, some stories, they've become something that the public listen to, and they become damaging. So as I rightly said, I think journalists or people in charge of media, they should check for the source before going public. Because once you go public, millions of people might have seen what you've posted.
Especially in social media
and it becomes a news. It's not a story anymore. It becomes a news. And again, on the issue of Amaju Pinnick, for goodness sake, for us to move forward, for us to progress. He has won the election. I don't know where this one is coming from. Though, within the Nigerian football fraternity, there are some people, they don't want to see his face. They don't want to see his face. But if you don't want to see someone's face, you cannot kill the institution. Because if we are not careful, if they start with all these allegations, going to court or fighting this man, it will affect us a fever. That status that guides football. Government interference, no to fever. Do you understand? Though government sponsors football in most African countries, but interference, fever says no. So that the game can have its own independence. So my appeal to people, they should allow this administration to continue what they are doing, and all these rumors, allegations, news should stop henceforth.
But
I get the point.
But if there are questions to be answered, the right
channels to go through.
We'll do that.
No. There are questions to be answered. I was here last week, and while watching the slide of the minister, there's something he said, and I really hope that people pick up on it. He talked about funds being released to the NFF as concerns the Falcons for their previous outing. And the ladies came to him and said they've not been paid. And he's saying that, so there are issues. Do you get?
So, but actually responded.
Yeah, I know he has responded. The reason why I brought it back is that when we're talking, we should always go through the proper channels for engagement. There's nothing wrong with people saying things, but you must always have your facts before you come out to say that you did this or you did that or someone did something. If you allege without proving,
you can get in trouble for that. We'll leave it at that for now. Let's quickly go to England. The English FA Cup over the weekend went down. Saturday went according to plan. All the big teams ensured qualification for the 4th round. But on Sunday, there were quite a few upsets to talk about. Chelsea advancing. Everton also advancing. Man City absolutely crushed Rotherham 7-0. Watford also moved on into the next round. But on Sunday, we're talking about Leicester City. I mean, Leicester...
It's crazy.
Incredibly lost against Newport. 2-1.
That's why it's FA Cup.
Okay.
That is why it's FA Cup.
The magic.
And that's the lowest ranked team right now.
It's normal.
So
there's some giant killers. Yeah.
But Leicester, I mean, look at the form that they've been on. Yeah, Fulham as well, but Fulham they've struggled also.
But Leicester beating Chelsea, beating Man City, and can't beat Newport. I think maybe because of I saw the lineup, I was like, okay, he was playing safe, resting most of his players and all that.
But the players
Man City didn't do that. Man City had, a first team squad against Rotherham, so you'd have expected Leicester City going away from home to actually have at least maybe some of the big boys around. But they didn't have that. Some didn't even travel.
That's the problem of Jets.
But the guys have played.
Don't compare Man City.
The guys have played, of course, first team players, but
Okazaki played.
Iheanacho wasn't listed in that.
Well, so what are we saying here? Those are good players.
Just like he said, it's the magic of the FA Cup. It's bound to happen. That's why we watch football. We want to see the upsets also. Newport, Leicester, shocking. Oldham, Athletic, Fulham, shocking.
So all the shocks that you talked about. Now, does it worry you that you have, okay, the game for tonight, Wolves and Liverpool. Now, that's the one everyone is looking for.
Nah. Look, with the way Liverpool has been playing, and forget about the recent results, I don't see any upset here.
Okay, it's not going to come. All right, it's not going to come. We'll wait for tonight to see the final result. We'll go for a break now. We'll come back. We'll be looking at the papers.